It's a strange, unsettling feeling, right? One that can shake you to your core. You might have thought their exit was the end of the story, the final chapter of a painful book. You healed, you moved on, and life began to make sense again. But out of nowhere, they come back, and suddenly you're left questioning everything. Why would someone who hurt you so deeply suddenly decide to return? What does it mean when they reappear after abandoning you, especially when you've already let go of the past? These are not simple questions to answer. It can feel confusing and irrational when someone who's caused you emotional turmoil seems to waltz back into your life without any regard for what they've put you through. But the truth is, there are hidden psychological reasons behind this behavior that go far beyond just you. It's not always about your pain. It could be a reflection of their own unresolved emotions, insecurities, or unmet needs. In today's video, we're diving deep into the psychology of why people who hurt you might come back and how you can handle it with wisdom, using the powerful teachings of Stoicism. Stoic philosophy equips us with the tools to remain emotionally resilient, teaching us that while we cannot control the actions of others, we do have control over how we respond. Your ability to stay grounded in the face of someone's return will determine whether you remain in control of your emotions or let the situation throw you off balance. The way you react in this pivotal moment can either bring healing and growth or lead you back into a cycle of confusion and hurt. This video isn't just about understanding their motives. It's about empowering you with the knowledge and mindset to protect your peace, make wise choices, and safeguard your emotional well-being. It's about learning how to respond from a place of strength, not weakness. So stick with me until the end, because the way you handle their return could have a lasting impact on your happiness and your ability to keep moving forward with clarity. Let's take a closer look at the psychological patterns at play here and how Stoic philosophy can guide us through this complex emotional terrain. 1. The weight of guilt. One of the most powerful emotions that can drive someone to re-enter your life after they've hurt you is guilt. Guilt is an intense, uncomfortable feeling, often strong enough to prompt people to take action to relieve the inner turmoil it causes. When someone wrongs you, they might not fully grasp the extent of their actions at that moment. Their behavior could have been impulsive, selfish, or even unintentional, with the consequences becoming clear only after some time has passed. The absence of your presence in their life may be the first time they are forced to face the repercussions of their choices. As time goes on, they start to realize the depth of the hurt they've caused, and guilt begins to settle in. This weight can be unbearable, leading them to question their own decisions. Did I make the right choice? Was it worth losing them? In many cases, the realization of the damage they've done, especially when they see you thriving without them, triggers a strong sense of regret. The idea that they've permanently lost you can be crushing, and it's this guilt that might push them to return, seeking some form of reconciliation or closure to ease the emotional burden. However, while guilt can undoubtedly be a powerful motivator for their return, it's important to recognize that it doesn't always signal genuine personal growth or an understanding of the pain they caused. Often, people come back not because they've had a change of heart, but because they want to alleviate their own discomfort. They may seek forgiveness, but it might not be because they've truly learned from their actions. From a Stoic point of view, we recognize that we cannot control how others feel or what drives their actions. Guilt, in this context, is an external force that doesn't have to influence our emotional state. Stoicism teaches us to focus on our own growth, peace, and emotional resilience, understanding that while someone else may be dealing with guilt, we are not responsible for carrying that weight. Their emotional journey is theirs to navigate, and our peace comes from within, not from how they handle their feelings of regret. 2. The fear of losing you forever. Another powerful force that might drive someone who hurt you to come back is the deep, often subconscious fear of losing you for good. This fear isn't always about love or a desire to reconcile. It's about a sudden realization that they've lost something truly significant in their life. When they left, they may not have fully understood how important you were to them. But with time, that absence starts to echo louder than any other emotion. This fear of permanent loss can be triggered by several emotions. Perhaps they didn't fully appreciate the depth of your connection until it was gone, or maybe they took you for granted, assuming you would always be there. Without your presence, your attention, affection, and support, they start to feel the void you once filled. The thought of life without you begins to feel suffocating, and that fear can overwhelm them. This fear is often intensified by feelings of loneliness, rejection, or the unsettling sight of you moving on and thriving without them. Humans are wired to resist loss, especially when it comes to meaningful relationships. This is why someone who once hurt you may return, not necessarily because they've had a profound change of heart, but because they fear the idea of losing you forever, of being unable to reclaim what they once had. However, this return is often driven by a fear of change, not necessarily a regret for their actions. They might not be ready to put in the work to build something healthy and lasting with you, but they can't bear the thought of you becoming a distant memory or finding happiness without them. For them, it's less about making amends and more about clinging to what they've lost and what they now realize they can't replace. It's a reaction to the discomfort of realizing that they've let go of something valuable, not an act of genuine remorse. As Stoics, we understand that we cannot control the fears or actions of others, but we can control our response to them. If someone returns out of fear of losing you, recognize this for what it is, an internal struggle on their part, not an indication of your worth or their love for you. Their emotions and fears belong to them, and they are not a reflection of your value or your need to fix anything. Remember, your peace is not tied to their actions or insecurities. It is yours to protect and preserve. Whether they return out of fear or guilt, it is not your responsibility to mend their emotional turmoil. Your path forward is about maintaining inner peace and detaching from the drama, knowing that you are worthy of stability, respect, and love that doesn't come from someone who is driven by fear or insecurity. 3. The need for external validation. A common reason someone might re-enter your life after hurting you is their intense need for validation. People often look for external confirmation to feel loved, valuable, and secure. This need for validation can become so powerful that it drives them to return, not necessarily to make amends, but to reassure themselves that they still matter, that they're still capable of forming meaningful connections. When someone hurts you and walks away, they might initially feel relief, thinking they're better off without you. But over time, that sense of relief often gives way to an undeniable void. The love, attention, and affirmation you once offered them may have been the cornerstone of their self-worth. Without it, they begin to feel insignificant or invisible. In reality, they may not have fully realized just how important your validation was until it was gone. The absence of your presence forces them to confront how much they relied on you to feel good about themselves. This feeling of emptiness can become increasingly overwhelming. They might start to question their decision to leave, wondering if they were wrong to reject the emotional support and affirmation you once gave them. As this void grows, they may return, not necessarily to fix what they've broken, but because they desperately need the validation you provided. They want reassurance that, despite the pain they caused, you still care enough to accept them back. However, this kind of return can be dangerous. It creates a cycle where they come back, not to repair the damage done, but to feed their own insecurities. They're not seeking genuine healing or to take responsibility for their actions. They just want to soothe their own emotional discomfort. This pattern can become toxic, as it places the burden of their emotional needs on you, while ignoring the harm they've caused in the first place. As Stoics, we learn that validation should not come from outside sources, but from within. Your worth doesn't depend on anyone's approval or recognition. When someone returns seeking validation, remind yourself that you don't need their acknowledgement to feel complete. Your peace comes from knowing who you are and understanding that your value is inherent. Never let someone else's return dictate how you see yourself or affect your emotional well-being. The test of your character and inner strength. When someone who has hurt you returns, it's not just a test of their intentions, it's a profound test of your own character. This moment, filled with emotional weight, reflects how far you've come in developing emotional resilience and how strong your inner peace truly is. Think of it as standing at a crucial crossroads, where the decision you make will show the world, and more importantly, yourself, the strength of your character, your ability to rise above past wounds, and how well you've learned to maintain calm amidst emotional turbulence. From a Stoic perspective, this situation offers an opportunity to meet emotional chaos with wisdom, clarity, and self-control. The core principle of Stoicism teaches us that we are not controlled by our emotions. Rather, we have the power to control our responses to external events. Their return is not about their actions or intentions. It's about how you handle the situation. How you respond in this moment is a direct reflection of how much you've mastered your own emotions and whether you can stay composed, no matter the external pressure. This is where your inner strength comes into play. Will you allow anger, bitterness, or the desire for revenge to shape your response? Or will you demonstrate true strength by choosing to protect your peace, even in the face of the emotional storm their return may trigger? Stoicism encourages emotional detachment from external events, helping you to not let the past cloud your present peace. While it's natural to feel hurt or tempted to act impulsively, the key is to rise above those fleeting emotions and take deliberate, intentional action. Detachment does not mean you disregard the person or their feelings. Rather, it's about releasing unhealthy attachments to the outcome of the situation. If they return, hoping to reconcile, you don't need to rush or act based on immediate emotional reactions. Stoicism empowers you to take the time you need to reflect, to assess the situation without the urgency of emotional impulses. Remember, your inner peace and well-being come from within, not from whether or not they are still a part of your life. This is a pivotal moment where you can demonstrate the strength of your emotional character. It's an opportunity to reaffirm your values, maintain your personal boundaries, and deepen your emotional resilience. The way you navigate this challenge speaks volumes about your growth and your ability to maintain a sense of peace, regardless of what happens externally. What should you do when they return? When someone who has hurt you comes back, it can spark a whirlwind of emotions: confusion, anger, sadness, and even the temptation to open your heart again. You might be tempted to forgive quickly, to overlook the pain, or to give them another chance. But Stoic philosophy teaches us that our emotional well-being should not hinge on the actions or presence of others, especially those who have caused us harm. So what should you do when they return? The first step is to pause. Don't react impulsively or out of the raw emotions of the moment. Stoicism advocates emotional detachment, creating a space between the situation and your response to it. This allows you to think clearly and act with intention. Take a moment to ask yourself, why are they returning? What do they truly want from you? Is it genuine remorse, or is it simply because they miss you, need validation, or fear losing you forever? Understanding their motivations is critical to making a thoughtful decision. It's important to check in with yourself. Have you truly healed from the hurt they caused? Are you emotionally ready to re-engage with them, or is there still work you need to do to rebuild your sense of peace? Your emotional health and well-being should always take priority. Most importantly, detach from the idea that their return is necessary for your happiness or closure. True inner peace is cultivated from within, not from someone else's actions or presence in your life. Stoicism teaches us that we have the power to control our reactions and decisions, and by doing so, we maintain the power to shape our lives regardless of what others do. So, when they return, remember that your peace is not dependent on them. Stay grounded in your values and choose to act from a place of strength and self-respect. Their return may leave you feeling conflicted, but by applying the wisdom of Stoic philosophy, you can navigate this emotional challenge with grace and clarity. The actions of others are beyond your control, but how you respond is fully within your power. Use this moment as an opportunity to strengthen your character, protect your peace, and remain true to the values you've worked so hard to cultivate. If you found this video insightful, don't forget to subscribe to Mindful Stoicism for more reflections on how Stoic principles can help you live a peaceful, empowered life. And if you've ever faced a similar situation, I'd love to hear your thoughts. How did you navigate the return of someone who hurt you? Share your experiences in the comments below. Let's continue the conversation. 5. Unresolved emotional needs. Another powerful reason why someone who has hurt you might return is because of their own unresolved emotional needs. People often leave relationships or situations thinking they can move on, but deep down they carry unresolved feelings, needs, or desires that they haven't fully addressed. These emotional gaps can drive them to return, especially when they realize that no matter how much they try to distract themselves, the emotional void remains. The departure might have felt final at the time, and you might have moved on, but for the person who hurt you, the absence of your presence can be overwhelming. They may have convinced themselves that they didn't need you, but as time passes, they begin to feel the impact of losing you more deeply than they anticipated. The things they took for granted, the emotional support, the connection, the comfort of having someone who truly understood them, are now starkly missing from their lives. When these feelings surface, they might look to you as the solution to their emotional discontent, hoping that your return will help fill the void they can't seem to fill anywhere else. In some cases, this return isn't about remorse or regret. It's about them seeking comfort or reassurance. They may be returning because they feel emotionally vulnerable and are looking for the safety net they once had in you. This is a very human reaction. When people feel lost or uncertain, they tend to seek out what once gave them stability or peace. However, it's important to approach this situation with caution. While it's understandable that they may be struggling with their own emotional challenges, it doesn't mean you should sacrifice your peace or well-being to meet their needs. This is where Stoic wisdom comes in. We cannot control the emotions or actions of others, but we can control how we react. It's essential to recognize that their need for emotional support is not your responsibility to fix. Stoicism teaches that we should focus on our own growth, healing, and emotional stability. If someone returns because of their unresolved emotional needs, it's important to assess whether their return aligns with your own values and goals. Are they truly seeking to make amends and offer something genuine, or are they simply trying to fill an emotional gap without considering the impact it may have on you? Your emotional well-being and peace must always come first. Their emotional needs are their responsibility, not yours. Your peace and growth are not dependent on their return. By maintaining a sense of detachment and focusing on your own healing journey, you can navigate this situation with clarity and strength. In moments like these, remember, you are the guardian of your emotional state. While others may seek comfort from you, you must ensure that you are not compromising your own peace in the process. Use this moment to reflect on your emotional needs, set healthy boundaries, and stay true to your path of inner growth. If you found this video insightful, don't forget to subscribe for more Stoic wisdom on how to navigate the emotional challenges of life. And if you've experienced someone returning because of their unresolved needs, share your story in the comments. Let's talk about how you've handled such situations and what you've learned along the way. Conclusion: navigating the return with wisdom and strength. When someone who has hurt you comes back into your life, it can stir up a complex mix of emotions. Guilt, fear, the need for validation, and unresolved emotional needs can all be powerful motivators behind their return. But remember, while you cannot control their reasons or actions, you can control how you respond. Stoic philosophy teaches us that true peace comes from within, not from the actions or presence of others. By cultivating emotional resilience and practicing detachment, you gain the power to respond thoughtfully and deliberately, rather than impulsively or reactively. The key is to stay grounded in your values, protect your inner peace, and prioritize your own emotional well-being. When someone returns after hurting you, it's an opportunity to demonstrate your growth and strength. It's a chance to show not only them, but also yourself, how much you've evolved, how well you've learned to navigate the turbulence of emotions, and how committed you are to maintaining your peace, no matter what external challenges arise. Ultimately, whether or not you allow them back into your life is up to you. Trust yourself, reflect carefully, and make choices that serve your highest good. Remember, your happiness and peace do not depend on anyone's return or validation. You are the author of your own story, and you have the power to shape your life according to the values and wisdom you hold dear. If you found value in this video, don't forget to subscribe for more insights into how Stoic philosophy can help you navigate life's challenges with grace and strength. And if you've ever dealt with someone returning after causing you pain, share your thoughts in the comments below. Let's continue the conversation and learn from each other's experiences.